I'm not premature. Playing for Team 3D, Clan 3D, the 3D clan, some may say. He is the Russian Protoss player. In the blue, it's Couguar.
That's right, and his opponent in the top left-hand side there in the red, representing Spain, currently teamless. It is our red Zerg player. His name is SouLeer. Now we talked a bit about. I heard you
spin the camera, but I still did it anyway because I can't help myself.
I mean, it sounds so fun, doesn't it? It feels so fun to go ahead and spin that camera and make yourself feel like an absolute pro. Not all of us can be Mapu, but we can sure try, right, Grant? Well,
definitely. Apparently, I'm a bit low, right?
Yeah, I've just upped you a bit, so hopefully that'll help. We'll see if that fixes things. If not, guys, we'll continue to make adjustments. Thanks for your feedback, chat. By the way, Twitch chat GMs, all of you guys in the chat, whatever you choose to identify as there in the chat, good to have you. Good to have you all. And already, Couguar opening up with something a little strange here, Grant. Is this a Forge fast expand?
Yeah, so he's certainly going to look to go for cannons if he can get the opportunity in the natural or the third. This is proper retro. Like, so we see the probe coming in now. It is just this one probe. Going to go in for a scout. He wants to see that pool timing before he decides whether cannons are a good idea. And in this scenario, I would certainly say yes. This is a very good map here on Death Aura in the position just to the left of the hatchery to throw down a couple of pylons and some cannons, but he's not going to do it. It is just a standard Forge fast expand with no cannons, nothing at all. Wow, I haven't seen this in so long. Maybe concerned about an all-in coming from SouLeer. But no, just going to be a standard Forge fast expand here from our Protoss player as we go into this early game.
Yeah, and no early aggression from SouLeer at all, obviously, with that hatch gas pool going down. It's not a build intended to do any real early aggression. Obviously, you can transition into some of that mid-game aggression, looking at roaches, looking at some sort of lair play. But right now, it just looks like SouLeer content to go get his third at about the 2-minute 45-second mark. A very standard third base timing there from our Spanish Zerg player. And yeah, as you said, Couguar with that Forge fast expand. What an incredible throwback play from our Russian player. That's freaking crazy.
Yeah, there's no real reason. I mean, the main reason that it sort of fell out is that Adept opening is just considered to be a little bit better. They offered so much in terms of vision and getting across the map as well as defense against Lings. Meanwhile, originally your choice was you had to open either Stalker, really, when you went for gateways in Heart of the Swarm. But the Adept adding a lot of pressure there. But the Forge fast expand, as I said, is very safe. Probably the safest opening you can do. Sure, I saw that cannon.
What was that? What was that?
Sure, you do have to spend a bit of money. It slows everything down. The Forge is going to be there for probably in a couple of minutes. I'd expect to see +1 startup. We have the Stargate behind. And as you can see, now is the first Adept coming. Usually it would have been out. It would have been moving across the map, probably already trying to find some information. So Couguar has given up that little bit of scouting info, but he's never going to die. Cannon, Sentry, Adept. Like, what's he expecting? This probe, not even going to die. So it's 4 lanes now thrown away. And the Adept is going to feel pretty happy to go across. For now, just going to make sure that this third can be taken. A 4-minute third here for Couguar. That is very quick. 30 seconds quicker than the sort of standard. And with an Oracle coming as well, I really do like this opening.
Which is a little strange. We usually see conservative openings like this, and I think we as casters are very quick to say, oh, this player's playing too safe. This is a premier event. He's got to do a bit more damage. He's got to get something done. You got to push forward. Couguar just sitting back on his haunches, coiled like a tiger, ready to strike, waiting for the right opportunity, or should I say, like a cougar or a jaguar. On his haunches there. Again, we're going to see a Ling run by here from SouLeer, but I don't think anything's going to happen. There's an Adept. There's an Oracle for safety. Yeah. How often do you see a safety Oracle here?
I know.
This is one of those really weird positions, Grant, where this is the first game that both Couguar and SouLeer have played.
Yes.
In the DreamHack Fall series. Is this a build that Couguar has prepared specifically to throw his opponent off, to do something a little unusual? Or do you think he's just playing his standard style, and his standard style happens to be this old school safe play?
So I'm very curious whether Couguar feels like if he can get to the 6 gas stage, as quickly as possibly, but as safely as possibly. He feels like he is the better player in that sort of mid to late game. You can see he's building mass oracles. He's only now moving across the map with his first 2. There's a lot of queens already out, 5 on the field here for SouLeer. So these oracles really shouldn't find a lot. If they do, that is certainly a mistake from SouLeer. SouLeer has his 4th going down again at a good time. This is just like, you know when you used to play, like, especially I used to play a lot of Dawn of War, and it'd be like, no rush, 10 minutes. That's what this is. Like, you'd just be like, you know, let me get what I want. You can't come and attack me. That's exactly what this game is. These oracles finding way too much damage.
This is so weird, Grant, because, you know, I know we've talked a lot about this Forge Fast Expand, probably too much, but it is, I can't stress enough how unusual this opener is. I've casted, you know, 1,000 StarCraft games in the last 3 months, and I've literally never seen a Forge Fast Expand. This is like... This is like if football season started, American football season started, and one of the teams came out in old school leather helmets and like no shoulder pads, and we're like, all right, lads, let's go. It's so strange, and these oracles getting the additional damage behind this completely unexpected. I love the transition though from Couguar. Look at this, he's grabbing Blink, he's grabbing a second Forge, greedy boy, and with that
already on the way.
Yeah, and you're
so
right
fast.
with this third base going down. I think he's perfectly safe to invest into those upgrades, to invest into those tech upgrades, and put himself in a really strong position. Very passive game here so far, outside of those 13 drones getting roasted by the oracles.
Yeah, and in total now, we've seen already, like, 15 drones have gone down, a couple of probes going down, I'm not really sure where, but the drone count continuing to fall, 16 now going down in total as a couple of adepts hit the 3rd base. Seeing if they can find just a little bit more. 17 seems to be that final number as the adept does go down, but that is a lot. Both players in the 70 workers by 7 minutes. What's actually happening? Is actually no rush 10 minutes?
I think it must be the first roaches coming out here from SouLeer, but honestly, Grant, I don't think roaches are his endgame. We already see that +2 melee attack coming down. We see Baneling's speed on the way, those centrifugal hooks. Obviously, these roaches are just an interim measure to try and get him through until he can get that Spire. And look at how quickly this Hive tech is coming out as well. These players are practically rushing to the end game right now. I know we were talking a bit about speed runs, Grant, beforehand. I feel like both these players are speed running the end game of a PvZ where they want to get up to those massive death ball armies and then defend.
Especially as someone who primarily casts like EU Zerg, they're very, very aggressive. You think Rain or Lambo. There's some Finnish kid, I can't remember his name. Yeah. They never ever stop counter-attacking or running lings, but we skipped. Literally, we skipped 10 minutes of this game 1. 3 oracles, only 2 oracles. Gonna get the kill, even on a hatchery. That's pretty good here for Couguar, who so far has really impressed me. His upgrades, he's been just throwing Chrono into them now on double Forge. He's moving into double Colossus production off of 4 Nexi. It's like Couguar is in such a good spot right now. And it all comes because both players have decided to just play greedy.
This is wild. We see Adrenal Glands already on the way as SouLeer throwing for his very first Ling run by of the game. Adrenal Glands at 9 minutes, straight into Greater Spire. It's going to be Ling, Bane, Broodlord, Grant, and those Colossi don't do super well against that composition.
No, there is, of course, a Spire already out. I don't believe that the Greater... there is, of course, a Stargate already out. I don't believe the Greater Spire has been seen, so that's going to need some preparation here. Blink is done, and Stalkers can be walked in. We're currently looking at how many gateways? 12. Holy moly. Okay, so Couguar is certainly not going to get caught massively off guard. He has a lot of sentries for force fields to back off. He has that Stargate. His upgrades are phenomenal. Getting the Templar Archives now +3 on the way. 7 Stalkers already coming in. I think he's starting to figure out this is most likely going to be that. 54 lings in the production time. There's just not that much here. The Roaches kill a gateway. Okay. He's got 12 more of them at this point. First 4 Corruptors on the way. 62 lings in the production tab. This game is actually just bonkers.
The most passive game I think we have seen the entire time, Grant. We've casted, of course, yesterday's DreamHack games. We casted 7, 8 series in a row, I think, and all of them much more aggressive than this one.
Yeah.
I love that these oracles are staying right on top. In fact, they're following one of the roaches to make sure they stay on top of this roach-ling army just for a little while there. Very cheeky, but those oracles, of course, going to be very valuable in the mid and early. Oh, look at that smart little colossi.
Battery.
Oh, the battery saves it. But this is what we were talking about earlier, where the colossi, while they were really good earlier in the game, now that we know that SouLeer is staying back and waiting for this massive late game army, the colossi not going to be as valuable because they're easily surrounded by these lings, easily taken down by corruptors, and wow, 10:35. Mark your calendar, Grant. First Broodlord on the way.
Yeah, and also even just like the first drop, the first prism across the map, the first aggression outside of the blue side of the map. So far, apart from the oracles, and they fly, so that's kind of cheating. There's been no aggression at all from Couguar. Both players getting up to max, but Couguar's upgrades are really good. We're going to be at +3, +2 in about 30-ish seconds. My only concern is that the Broodlords could be a problem. If we see like 12 Stalkers suddenly walked in, that could be very, very useful here for our Protoss player, who is now starting to get more typical EU style with the constant run-bys and aggression. This is going to be cleaned up. Lots of Banelings. Actually, just, yeah, there we go. A couple going to be used. Very nice. More Archons coming in, it looks like here, yeah, for Couguar. SouLeer's army is very, very strong, but I think Couguar has all of the tools to handle it as long as he doesn't mess up.
As long as he doesn't mess up, and that might be what this game comes down to, Grant. I foresee two very real possibilities for the end game here in this game number 1. One of the players makes a huge mistake. Lings flood into the natural, there's no recall available, something like that. Or 2, one of the engagement here happens, and then one of the players fails to tech transition. Yeah, really nice force fields here by Couguar. And I think if one of the players fails to transition and read what their opponent's transitioning into and give themselves a significant army composition advantage, that could spell the demise for either one of these players. But right now, Grant, I still think it's anybody's game. Look at Couguar's bank, though.
Yeah, it's really phenomenal. His upgrades as well, as I said, massively ahead. He is at 5 total upgrades to just the 2 of his opponent. And I mean, there's no Broodlords on the field, right? How many Corruptors are there? 14. No Broodlords at all. Why?
Yeah, the Broodlords were taken down earlier by a Phoenix. There were only about 3 out. One Phoenix was able to take it down, and then one of the Archons got down as well. So none of that going down, Grant. This is absolutely wild right now. Ling run-bys going through in Couguar's base. Neither player really incentivized to attack. It's interesting, Grant. Well, hold on. Couguar's attacking here. Grant, what's going on?
Yeah, this isn't an engagement he can take. He needs to take down the rocks if he wants to use that attack avenue. The best thing here about the topography of the map, that's really hard for me to say, is all of these choke points mean SouLeer can do things like this. Look for the flanks, really bundle the army up, try and get his Banelings in. But this is like a proper Protoss army. And the tech here for our Zerg player, it's Lings, it's Banes, there's some Corruptors, and a couple of Ravagers. But as we said, there are no Broodlords, and I think Broodlords would be good here.
Yeah, they absolutely would. This is something we actually talked about. I was on the Pylon show last night, and one of the user questions is, why is late game PvZ so difficult? And the answer is, of course, that neither player really incentivized to attack. This attack not going well for SouLeer. He's going to snipe some Colossus, but all that's left are these Corruptors, and oh, so many Corruptors going to go down here for our Spanish Zerg player. There's the GG, and Couguar going to grab game number 1.
And I want to look at, like, army value here, because I honestly don't believe Couguar lost like a unit until about the 10-minute mark. Oh no, he lost about 1 about 7 minutes. That was the only unit he seemed to have lost. And Couguar just do you know what he did? He made expand and he defended it. And then he defended damage ever. SouLeer did not find a wink in that game. And sure, Couguar was very passive too, but he teched up way quicker.
Yeah, he absolutely did. This is going to be, this very first game, I think, pretty even between the two players. It's just that Couguar able to transition just a little bit better here. What do you think SouLeer needs to do in game number 2, Grant, to make this work out?
Be aggressive. I think especially, and I read this in chat, to shout out to whoever said it, I don't remember your name, I apologize. Another reason Forge Fast Expand really kind of sucks is that Ravager all-ins. Roach Ravager all-ins kill it. Because you just buy it all down the cannon, and then there's no gateway units, or there's like one adept by the time you hit. And even things like your cyber core is so late, so you can't get batteries. I wouldn't be surprised to see something along those lines, but just get in his face. Do not let him tech up like that. Graham, we are loading into map 2. It's going to be Eternal Empire, another very standard map here. Easy to get 3 bases, relatively harder to get 4. We see a lot of counterattacks across the north and south flanks. Let's do it, Creighton. Let's get into it.
Man, I'm excited here. Game number 2, Eternal Empire, a map the players know so well. Pardon me, and we're going to hop in here. Oh, I need a bit of water here. My voice is getting a bit froggy, Grant.
I got you, don't worry. In the top right, currently trailing in the series, currently teamless as well, although we did maybe leak that may be changing. Spoiler alert, he is a red tag player from Spain. It's SouLeer. You good?
I think so. Looks like my computer is experiencing a couple FPS drops in that first series. I'm not sure why that is. I've never had that happen before. I've reduced some of my settings, and hopefully things should be a little bit better from here on out. Hopefully chat can forgive me. I got a lot running on one computer here. Grant in Discord, my streaming service, and StarCraft as well. Putting a lot of strain on my girl here. She'll do fine, though, I'm sure. Spawning the bottom left-hand side here from the 3D clan and Russia. It is our Protoss player in blue. Going for that very far forward pylon. It is Couguar. Is he being a cheeky boy here, Grant? Faking that cannon rush? Oh, it's happening. It's happening. Already 4 drones pulled down here from SouLeer. Double gateway from Couguar. Grant, what's the game plan here from our Russian player?
Zealots? That can be the only plan here. There is no gases taken here for Couguar. Couguar going the opposite way. Last game he just does absolutely nothing. All games, sits back on his haunches and gets everything sorted out. This time the Cougar Jaguar combo is going to go early and go for the throat, as we're going to see proxy free gates. Again, this is a build we just don't see really anymore. Proxy gates are very, very uncommon. Usually it's cannons into robo, maybe sort of a cybernetics core proxy, but this is going to be triple zealot. It is going to go trying to kill a load of drones. The spawning pool's only halfway done. The first zealots will be out before the spawning pool finishes. And I mean, it could not be closer. There's no escaping either. This is a complete wall as far as I can tell. Yep. I mean, oh, these Brood War zealots are so sexy.
They really are, with the Brood War Nexus as well from Couguar.
Yeah,
so old school builds, old school skins. It is fantastic. So tons of drones pulled down here to the natural, and immediately we're going to see SouLeer panicking, dropping those dual spine crawlers, dropping 8 lings, trying to make sure that the zealots can't do any more damage than they're already doing. But Grant, 4 zealots on the board already. The drones got to be pulled off here. What does Couguar need to focus fire down?
Drones, definitely. If he can kill the drones, this is great for him. Behind this, he's already up 3 workers. His cybernetics core is on the way. His gas has gone down. He's doing what he needs to do. I mean, if he can get the hatchery, that is going to be insane. I don't think it's that likely. Right now, he's getting pretty surrounded. He needs to start either targeting down this hatchery as the 6th and the 7th zealot pop out. Yeah, just go for the hatch now. And you're just in a phenomenal position right now as a Russian Protoss player. Now you fall back. It is a complete wall. Recall.
Recall, really? I would say go up into the main base. And
it looks like that's what there's no spines in the main, right?
Well, no, there are no spines in the main. Both those spines down in the natural. The spines not protecting anything. They're going to try and waddle their way up, but they're off creep. And spines are one of the slowest units. Not even units, one of the slowest buildings in the game. Oh, man, these zealots going to have a field day right now. And it looks like this main hatchery going to go down as well. SouLeer not getting a good start today. 2 really unusual builds from Couguar.
This, I'm all aboard the hype train now. He's done it for me. This is what I need to see here from a player that I don't know too well. So let's get it surrounded. He's the whole command here, and he's not done it for a while. It looks like the zealots will finally be cleaned up. But I mean, it's 9 to 22 workers. Make that. Oh no!
No!
Yeah, there we go. It is over. Couguar with the quickest 2-0. I think. Wow.